Whitegrass Ranch was the third dude ranch to open in 1919 after being homesteaded for 6 years. When Harold Hammond and George Tucker Bisham first filed for their adjacent tracts of land, their plan was to open a dude ranch. Both men had met the previous summer at the Bar BC, where Hammond was working as a wrangler and Bisham was a guest. Their plans were pushed back by World War I when Hammond was deployed and Bisham looked after both ranches. Hammond was aboard the SS Tuscania when it was torpedoed and sank, but he survived and returned home to open the Whitegrass Ranch. Their first summer they hosted 10 dudes in 3 cabins and a sleeping tent. In the early 1920s, Whitegrass partnered with the Bar BC to run the Whitegrass Ranch for Boys, a summer camp that taught boys the simple life of traditional skills. Parents were encouraged to stay at the Bar BC. However, families preferred to vacation together, and the Whitegrass returned to the traditional dude ranch model. By 1930, Whitegrass had expanded to host 30 dudes and 15 cabins. During the Depression, mortgages supported a few ambitious building projects. A bathhouse with showers and a laundry facility were constructed, and private bathrooms were added to the sleeping cabins. Whitegrass would survive relatively unscathed, thanks in part to Hammond's Silver Fox Farm. In 1939, Harold Hammond died and passed his ranch on to his stepson, Frank Gailey. The ranch saw another brief hiatus during World War II. Gailey returned to several years' worth of deferred maintenance, hindered by wartime shortages. Despite the challenges, Gailey expanded the ranch to host up to 55 dudes by 1956. The same year, Gailey sold the majority of the property to the National Park Service under a life estate lease. The ranch would remain in operation as one of the most popular dude ranches in the valley until Gailey's death in 1985. With the completion of the life estate lease, all of the interior furnishings, livestock, and farming equipment was auctioned off. The National Park Service began to dismantle the man-made structures to return the property back to its natural setting. They removed all of the irrigation systems, fencing, and the pond. They sold a few cabins as well as the barn. Before they could go much farther, shifting ideas about historic preservation and a listing in the National Register of Historic Places in 1990 stopped the removal of the remaining cabins. The Western Center for Historic Preservation was created and reopened the Whitegrass as its official training facility. Over the last decade, the ranch has been systematically restored to serve a growing need for preservation projects. The ranch houses several groups for training seminars with participants spanning from Alaska to Arizona. Today, the Whitegrass Heritage Project oversees the preservation of the ephemeral history of Whitegrass. Ranch stories, photographs, videos, and memorabilia have been cataloged and returned home to Whitegrass. Much of the collection can be viewed at whitegrassranch.org. The Whitegrass Heritage Project hopes to continue to collect and cultivate an appreciation of Whitegrass's long history and bright future.